So in the morning was the protest. It was very moving. Over 10,000 people marched, led by Iraq veterans against the war. Veterans of Iraq and Afghanistan who were in full uniform, and they were marching, protesting war. Then the producers of Democracy Now! Went back to the office. We were working at a St. Paul Neighborhood Network. I went onto the convention floor in the afternoon to interview the delegates from the hottest state, Alaska. And then I was going on to Minnesota to interview delegates there, and I got a call on my cell phone. Our producer, Mike Burke, said, Sharif and Nicole are being arrested right now. The protests were over that they were covering. They're digitizing tape. They said they're being arrested and we think they've been hurt. So we raced off the convention floor. I was with Rick Rowley of Big Noise Films. He was my cameraman for the day. We were running down the streets of St. Paul to 7th and Jackson, this big parking lot. The police had moved in and were arresting everyone inside. When we got there, it was fully contained. The riot police were lined up in their new black gear with their helmets on, face masks, batons. I ran up. I clearly had just come from the convention. I had all of my high security credentials. And they're the ones that interview presidents and vice presidents, senators and Congress members. And so it was very clear who I was. And I said, who I was. And I said, I'm fully accredited. Our 2 producers are inside. They're fully accredited journalists. We need them released. And within seconds, they ripped me through the line, the riot police. I mean, someone said when they see this video on YouTube, you should show what happened before. You have to give context, which I'm a full believer in, except nothing had happened before. I had just run up 1 second before, and this videotape showed me running up. I stopped. I said to the police, they're inside. Our producer, Sharif Abdul-Quddus and Nicole Salazar, they need to be released. They're fully credentialed as well. They ripped me through the line. They twisted my arms behind my back. They slapped these rigid plastic handcuffs on that dig into your wrist. They put me up against the wall and they pushed me on the ground. I was demanding to see the producers. I was responsible for them. I had to know that they were okay. I saw across the parking lot Sharif. His arm was bloodied. His hands were handcuffed behind his back. His credentials in full view around his neck. Finally, they brought me to him. We're both standing there. And I'm saying, I was arrested by the Minneapolis police. It's a national security event, so every level of security is there. Secret Service, Minneapolis police, St. Paul police, on every level. Police on horseback, on bikes, on motorcycles. They're tear gassing, pepper spraying, clubbing. It's the whole gamut. And each city got something like $50 million for so-called security. So we're there. We've got the credentials on. And I'm saying, you can see we're credentialed journalists. This is outrageous. You must release us. Whereupon the Secret Service came over and ripped the credentials from around my neck and took Sharif's credentials. I was demanding to see Nicole. When I got in the police wagon, that's where she was, with her credentials dangling from her neck. And she described what had happened. They had come down from the office, which was right there. They had heard a commotion. She brought the camera. Sharif had his microphone, and they were filming the protest. She did not plan to film her own violent arrest, except the police moved in very fast in a kind of pincer-like move. She was pushed up against the car. She's in a parking lot. She can't move. As they're telling her, she's saying, where? I can't move, but press, holding her camera, holding her press ID up. And they move in on her. They're saying, face on the ground, face on the ground. And she's saying, press, press. You hear this all on the videotape. And they take her down hard. She's on her stomach, face on the ground. They've got knee or boot in her back, and they're dragging her by her leg. Her face has to be in the ground, so they bloody her face. What's one of the first things they do? Pull the battery out of her camera, if you had any question about what they wanted here. And Sharif was right there. He's a very calm guy, and he was telling them to calm down. He saw people out of control, and that's dangerous. I'm talking about the police. If a young woman or a man, it doesn't matter, is being taken down between cars by these men with guns, and she is flat down being dragged, you really hope there's a police officer in the vicinity. You hope they will come and arrest the assailants. The problem was the police were the assailants, and they were arresting their victim. The problem really is bigger than Nicole and Sharif, though. The problem is the victim is democracy, because journalists are essential to the functioning of a democratic society. As Sharif tells them to calm down, they throw him up against the wall, they kick him twice in the chest, they get him down, he's bleeding, and they handcuff him. They are sent off to jail. They face PC felony riot, that's probable cause felony riot, and I'm brought to the police garage where they have the cages for the protesters, and I was charged with misdemeanor obstruction of a peace officer. If only there were peace officers there. Interference with the judicial process. Because of outcry that day, after a number of hours, we were released. An AP photographer was in the cell with Sharif. He wasn't released. It really came from people just all over the country hearing very quickly what had happened, and they couldn't contain it anymore if they wanted to be able to conduct their business. So they released us that night, though we were charged. The next morning I went to the police chief's news conference. When I went in, the officer who opened the door was my processing officer. I said, you not only have to open this door, you have to let me out when this press conference is done. So we went into the press conference, and I asked John Harrington, Chief Harrington, how do you expect us to operate? What have you told the police? How have you instructed them in dealing with the press? And what do you expect us to do? I described fully what happened to my colleagues, and as well as me. And he said, you can embed with a mobile field force. We can embed with a mobile field force. We are unembedded reporters. You know the whole idea of embedding in the front lines with troops in Iraq, the reporters who do that. I think that has brought the media to an all-time low. Because if you're going to embed in the front lines of troops, you're sleeping with them, eating with them, you identify them, your lives are in their hands. How are you going to cover them? What about embedding in Iraqi hospitals and Iraqi communities and the peace movement around the world to show the full effects of war? And so now they're using this terrible model of embedding in the front lines of troops as the way we're supposed to cover American cities. It has to be challenged. There has to be pushback for this. And sure enough, the next day, we're out on the streets covering the protests, and the riot police are there, and right in the middle of the riot police is Fox News. They're embedded. And it's not only being embedded in police, it's not only being embedded in the front lines of troops. We have to challenge the media being embedded in the establishment, in Washington, D.C. as well. We are supposed to be apart from them. It is not a comfortable position, but it is our job. There's a reason why our profession is the only one explicitly protected by the U.S. Constitution, because we're supposed to be the check and balance on power. When you arrest journalists, beat them, when you take them away, you are closing the eyes and ears of the democracy, and we have to fight back. This week, over 40 journalists were arrested. No sooner had all this happened, a few days past, Sharif got arrested again the last night. And one of the police officers said, we had told you to disperse already. And he said, you told me to disperse 4 hours ago, before the protests began. Who would be covering this? And you know, good journalists are also good for good cops, because cops don't want to be painted with the same brush as brutal cops. It is very important that there be transparency in this country, transparency at every level, which brings me to the whole issue of global warming.